What's up, everybody? What's up? Oh, it's such a beautiful, calming day, and we're gonna be on the porch today. And y'all asked, and I'm gonna be answering. Thank y'all so much for giving me some great ideas for a video a day in May. I think I've already missed a day already because y'all, I'm here to tell y'all it has been a rough, busy week. But still a productive, blessed week nonetheless. But I have just been enjoying this weather. Has been absolutely outstanding. Absolutely love it. But again, like I said, you give me some great ideas so that we can talk, or open things up for discussion, and y'all leave your thoughts and ideas in the comment section. And also too, because we're peacemakers over here, I'm going to say this again. Whenever I'm talking about something, whether it's my own personal business, it's because I'm normally just sharing. And for those of you who follow me, you know this. I'm just sharing, and it's only a beacon. Let me repeat, it's only a beacon for you all to look at those things for yourself, because I know there's a lot of people, because I know what my demographic is. A lot of people do tune in. They could be younger, they could be my age, they could be a little bit older, and they may not have come across some of the information or in the knowledge of some of the things that I share. And so it's important that you all understand that I'm giving you my personal experiences and what I am dealing with and or going through and or experience. So it's not for me to say that just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And so, like I've always said, I'm always going to be a pupil or a student of learning. So again, I just want to touch bases like on the 401k conversation I was having. Again, for most of you who are in a traditional 401k retirement savings plan, you know all the ins and outs, and then there's some few things that you may not know about, and you just become into the knowledge of as you look into your again your personal finances and business. But I think sometimes it's very disingenuous when people say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, no, I do know what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm living it. I'm doing it. And again, just for the sake of communication and conversation, I recognize as a people, we perish for the lack of knowledge. And it's not important to you until it happens to you. Well, what do you mean by that, Lady T? What do you mean by that, Tanya? Well, when you leave a comment and says, well, you don't know what you're talking about concerning your 401k, which I did have someone leave that comment. I'm like, okay, well, how so? Elaborate. Give your, expertise opinion on 401k knowledge or saving or preparing for a retirement plan. And again, that's the bracket I'm in now. And you just learn as you go. And as I was expressing to you all, is that my company is now offering, this is something new, that they are now offering that we can put our savings for retirement into a Roth IRA, because majority of companies do the traditional, and you have some companies that do one or the other or both. So when I was speaking to you all, I was just thinking and speaking to you, and again, thinking out loud, like, wow, if I decide to roll over all that, and like I said, I got a nice big chunk of money. If I decide to roll that traditional 401k retirement money that I've already set aside and I have already been saving and putting towards my retirement since the age of about 25, 26, I'm 53 now. If I decide to roll all that money over into the Roth IRA, then I have to look at the fact, oops, I got to pay taxes. You have to pay taxes on that money in the year you roll it over. So in other words, I want to make a decision by June of this year, because you can do it the first of every month. Now again, let me explain. If you Google it, or whatever search engine you use, I want y'all to know that there's over 700,000 kinds of 401k plans. It just depends on what your company that you work for, it depends on what they offer, and it be in line and regulation with what the federal government allows. Again, I want to say that there is almost over 700,000 types of 401k plans. And there are a lot of different companies that offer 401k investments. You got Charles Schwab, you got Fidelity, you got Merrill Lynch? Again, whoever your company is working with, there's Macmillan. So there, I'm just naming off a few off the top. Okay? So whichever one your employer, if you're not doing retirement savings through employer, perhaps you're going directly to them. Again, I've always done it through my company. So I haven't had to look into, is it something that I can do? Maybe some of you are already doing that through just your bank. Again, that's not an option that I have elected to do it through. I do it through my job, through payroll deduction. And the reason why is because I ain't leaving any money on the floor. Because again, whatever plan you're in, you got some companies that match dollar for dollar. So in other words, if let's say you put we'll just keep the math simple. If you put in $1 towards your retirement, then your company say, okay, I'll match that dollar up to a certain percent, So if your company says, hey, if you at least put 5% of your income toward your retirement, we will automatically do 4%. So it's almost like 9% is going in, but you're only employee rather, you're only having to contribute 5. But you're actually getting 9% put in there. And again, 401k, traditional 401k money is money that is not taxed. So let's just say, for the simple fact of using math, if you put $100 toward your 401k, the traditional 401k, you normally would pay taxes on that $100. But because you're putting it toward your retirement, that whole $100 goes into your retirement. It's tax deferred. So anybody who contributes to their 401k, if you look at your W-2s, what you have to report as your income is less than what you actually earn, because those tax dollars, that $100, and I don't know if you get paid weekly, if you get paid bi-weekly, or if you get paid monthly, whatever you're contributing to your 401k, that money, that percent, is subtracted from what you have to actually report when you file your taxes. So that's what the traditional IRA does. So again, most plans, like for instance, the plan with my company, and again, it's also based on what the federal government allows as well. Whatever that rule is for them, the federal government says, hey, you can withdraw from your 401k when you turn 59. If you're 59 and a half, if your age is 59 and a half, you can pull money out of your 401k, whether you're retired or not. If you're of that age, you can pull out of your 401k without any penalty. Now, what penalty means is anytime you withdraw from your 401k early, whether it be, what do they call it, a hardship or whatever, something comes up and you got to pull money out of your 401k prior to that 59 and a half, years of age, then you can do that, but you're going to pay taxes on that money when you pull it out, and then you're going to be penalized. So it's like you're going to get double whammied. But if you're 59 and a half and you withdraw from your retirement plan, 401k, again, the traditional, you're going to have to pay taxes on that money that you withdraw out, because remember, when you put it in there, you didn't pay taxes on it. Whereas, again, that was what I was just expressing and thinking out loud with you all. If I go ahead on and bite the bullet, because again, as I get older, that money and taxes are going to continue to go up. Trust when I tell you, because that's what it's been doing our whole life since I've been living. So it's like, do I go on and rip the Band-Aid off, go on and roll everything over? And then again, I was expressing in the comments where someone said, hey, you may, if you roll over all your money, or you can roll over some of it. And again, the plan that's being offered at my job is you can still do traditional 401k, and you can do Roth. You can do a combination of both. But the rollover piece, you have an opportunity to do that, but it's limited. So you have to, that's why I said I want to make a decision. And again, when I have a phone conversation meeting set up with this company, and I'm going to ask all those type of questions, so I can make an informed, intelligent decision as it relates to my finances and based on my life. I know where I want to be at financially whenever I retire. So again, when I'm having these conversations, it's for people to look into those things, because sometimes we can be absent-minded about stuff. I was just sharing with you all, hey, I am in that arena. I tell the Lord, thank you. I'm in that bracket now where I really am seriously taking a more closer. I've always looked at it, but I'm taking even a more closer look at it. So when I made the comment and said, hey, I got to make a decision whether I want to go on and just roll that money over, all of it, go on and roll all of it over, and then whatever. So I can look at, okay, what's my tax bill going to be? So when I file my taxes in 2025 for the 2024 earning period, that's when that money, the taxes on that money that I roll over, will be that's when it will be due. They're gonna make you file for that the year that you do it. It's not, you know what I'm saying? So let's say, just for the sake of talking, let's say my tax bill, because I rolled all that money that was not taxed, it was deferred tax. Okay, now that tax is going to become due because I'm rolling it over into the Roth. And the Roth IRA means you take that money, whatever percentage that you're putting into your retirement, it's taxed. It's taxed up front. So what you put into your Roth 401k, that money's already been taxed. So you're not going to get taxed again when you withdraw from it. And you're not going to be taxed on the money that you earn from that investment. So that's the difference. So I know, at least going forward, I know, and I do 15% of my income. Because and it's really 19% because my company offers 4%. But anyway, what I'm saying is, so I already know that money is going to be taxed when I switch over to the Roth. That way, when I do retire, or if I decide to withdraw from my Roth at 59 and a half, I don't have to worry about pay taxes on it. I don't have to pay taxes on that because it was already taxed. Again, that's the difference between the two. Traditional 401k, that money that you put aside is not taxed. Roth IRA, individual retirement account is what that stands for, IRA. The Roth, that's money that you put to the side, but they've already taxed it through payroll deduction, and then they set that aside over there in your. Now that means every pay period your paycheck is going to be less than what it normally is, because now you're paying taxes on that money, whereas the traditional 401k you did not. So I want you all to be able to understand that. And so that way, that was the caveat. So you have to read the fine details. So the only thing that I was expressing was, hey, should I go ahead on and buy? Because again, my mind is thinking, God willing, as I get older and older, things are going to cost more. So should I go on and do it now? So at least by the time, let's say I decide to start withdrawing from my 401k, the taxes on that money is going to be in a higher tax bracket than it is right now. It's pretty much basically more than likely. That money that I have in there now is at a certain tax bracket right now. But as it grows, as I continue to put into it, it's going to continue to grow, and that tax burden is going to be even higher. So that was what I was saying. I got a decision to make between now and June. Do I just leave the money alone and stop contributing to the regular 401k and just going forward in June, put everything into the Roth and just deal with that money that's sitting over there in the regular traditional? Do I just deal with that when it's time for me to deal with it, or go ahead on and roll it on over, pay the taxes on it? And like I said, someone had made a comment that, yeah, you can actually set up payments on that tax. And I believe that to be true, because guess what? Small businesses do it every day, where they owe taxes on just their business, what they normally do, whether they're doing Roth, whether they're doing 401k, whatever. Let's say their tax bill is $20,000, and let's say they only have $10,000. So yeah, you can pay $10,000 and then set up payment plan for the other $10,000. So yeah, the government will work with you, but you have to set all that up. So again, it's like, I want to know what my tax bill would currently be right now if I decide to roll it over. So I know in April 15th, 2025, guess what? The government is going to be wanting that money on that money I rolled over. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. So again, it's just those things you have to look at. But again, I just want people to understand. But like I said, this is something new my company is offering, which is the Roth. So to me, that's very attractive to me, because like I said, I still have quite a few more years before I decide I'm going to retire, and I want to go ahead on and say, you know what, let me go on and swallow real hard and go on and take care of that. Keep in mind, I also am thinking about, going on the trajectory I'm on. I hope to have my house paid off in the next 7 to 8 years. So I'm looking at all of that stuff, So again, I want you all to understand that, when I'm on here talking about stuff, it's, I might just be throwing things out. And I love the fact that you all as peacemakers, y'all are down there, you're giving really good information for some people that didn't know certain things. And that's what I like. It's not about belittling people. My journey may not look like your journey. The whole purpose of the discussion is so that if you say, you know what, let me look into that. Let me make sure I got some stuff. You know what? Because I'm in that bracket too, and I hadn't even thought about it, what Tanya was talking about. And like I said, there are so many different plans. Like I said, there are some companies, they match their employees dollar for dollar, whereas you got some companies that only offer 50% of what they put. It just depends. And how much do they want you to contribute for them to even match what they're gonna put in towards your retirement? So again, there are a bunch of caveats. There are a bunch of different plans out there. And like I said, you think about what may be working and what your company does or what you're doing on an individual basis towards your retirement. Because see, I still also do regular savings. I do still, on top of me putting money aside for my retirement, I also save, which I'm sure most of y'all do that as well. So anyway, like I said, I love giving and talking about different information, because you never know who's watching your channel. It could be gurus about that information. But like I said, I'm just saying stuff and explaining stuff to you as point of information, as a, hey, this might be something that you all need to think about. Because like I said, I love it when I'm watching even different channels for different people. What they're saying may not be applicable or may not work for you, but yeah, it's working for them. Some people can't afford to do 15% of their income toward retirement. Maybe they only can do, and here's the other thing with 401k and Roth IRA. If you can have your money in an aggressive investment bracket, moderate, or you might be a safe person. You might say, you know what, I want to just put my money here, but I don't want to do too many risky investments. Baby, you can break that thing down however you want your money to go. You might put 50% of your money when you're investing it in that Roth. Hey, 50%, go ahead on and put it in that high risk. I'm gonna take this risk. Or you might say, you know what, I want to break it up. That little chart pie, you can put 30% here, 50% here. As long as you do the 100%, you can pretty much. And again, it just depends on the company that is doing your 401k investments. Because I'm going to tell you now, like I said, honey, baby, during COVID, whew, that was painful to look at your 401k statement, because, baby, a lot of us lost a lot of money. Now, it's built itself back up and we've gained that money. But just think about, had you not lost it, that would have been about $30,000, $40,000 still in your account. But, baby, we all took a hard hit during them COVID. Whew, Lord, my God. But anyway, like I said, I'm just a person that just tries to share and trust when I tell you. Because, see, you know what? The blessing is when you prepare yourself for your future. Of course, we know tomorrow's not promised. But just like that living trust thing, I thought, oh my God, I had never heard of that again. But when you start looking at that kind of stuff, and you start thinking about, hey, this is something I need to look. So, I don't want my children or grandchildren to have, if I'm going to leave them something, I don't want them to have a big tax burden. Well, what can I do to shelter that? Well, boom, do this. Once you know that bad boy's paid off, make sure you put that bad boy in a living trust. So, I mean, it's just little things like that you just learn along the way. And again, it's about gaining knowledge. And so, like I said, I'm not trying to be funny, but hey, if you can offer or lend something to like I said, I'm not going to sit up here and give all my personal details about my finances, but you all understand it's just, hey, take a look at it. Just take a look at it. Or like I said, that 401k, the caveat for me was when we had our meeting about it, and the caveat for me was, okay, I recognize the 401k money that I've had put aside, all that money has been tax deferred. And I did know once I start withdrawing, I would have to pay taxes on that money. But the other thing was, I would have to pay taxes on any profit, any gains for that money. I was like, oh my God, didn't know that. See, and it's always been there. But again, it's one of those things where you have to read the fine print. Whereas with the Roth, which is why it's so attractive to me, and I already know I'm gonna move to the Roth. It just makes sense to go ahead on, have the money taxed up front, and then that way when you withdraw and you're trying to enjoy your retirement, you ain't got to worry about the tax man. And guess what? You ain't got to worry about the taxes on the money you earned. Whereas the regular traditional 401k, you got to do all that when you start withdrawing that money. So, that's the attractiveness. But there again, the other thing I'm stuck between is, okay, if I roll all that money over this year, then guess what? I'm going to have a hefty tax bill when I file my taxes, because you have to file that in the year that you roll it over. That's a federal government law. Nothing you can do about that. But then there again, there's an option where you probably can set up payments until you satisfy that tax debt on all that money that wasn't paid, all them taxes that weren't paid. And you think about it now, I've been saving and putting money in the regular 401k since I've been 25, 26 years old. And here it is, 28 years later, 28 years worth of income has not been taxed. So, anyway, like I said, to each his own. You do what's best for you. But it's like when we were on that meeting and they said it out loud, my brain was like, So, yeah. So, you just learn as you go. And like I said, it's not important to you until it happens to you. When you begin to be in a particular bracket in life and things become important to you, just like some of you all had stated that, some of y'all are in that bracket where you're asking about, life insurance, term life insurance, whole life insurance, what's the best plan for you? And that's why, again, it's important. Some plans may not be beneficial to you and your household because of what's going on in your household. Well, for somebody who may be perhaps single and elderly, that might be the perfect plan for them. But again, I love the fact that we're looking into these things because it's something that we just need to look into, because we don't want to be people who perish because we just didn't have the knowledge. And we just failed to look into it because for whatever reason, we didn't think it was important enough. But again, I'm go back to what I said. It's not important to you until it happens to you. And the word still tells us there's a prepared place for prepared people. And that is for anything in your life, not just the spiritual things. But if you prepare yourself for some things, hey, you're going to be making a prepared place for it. So again, know my heart and know that, hey, this is just a conversation you need to have with yourself, with your family, with your financial institutions, or whatever and however. And that's why I can applaud, and I look at some of the people, like I said, I'm in that bracket. I'm in that 50 to 65-year-old bracket, that 15-year spread bracket where, people are looking at this kind of stuff. Just like people, let's say you started your career later on in life, and let's say you're 50. Well, the government, the federal government will allow you to do what they call catch-up contributions, because you can't defer but so much money per year for taxes. I think it's like 20 something thousand. The government ain't gonna let you defer but up to so much amount. But now if you're trying to do catch up, then the government may allow you to do some additional savings towards your retirement if you're trying to do a catch up type deal. So see, that's something some of you all maybe want to do that, looking into. Like I said, there's different things going on out there. That's why they say get with your financial, your accountant, your tax attorney, whoever you deal with, and it could be yourself. guess what? Call the IRS. Now you'll get put on hold, but they'll work and walk you right through stuff. And I'm a living witness to that because I've had to do that a couple of years because I do my taxes. And I want to make sure, honey, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. So trust and believe. I might get on camera and we might throw some things around and talk about some stuff, but you better bet your bottom dollar before I go and hit the go button or sign my stuff, trust and believe I done did the extra homework to make sure. Just like even suggestions that you all make. Do you think I do stuff in the blind? Oh, heck no. I look, I ask questions. Look, I apply what needs to be applied based on the applicable entity that's got to look at my stuff. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with sharing and bouncing off one another, but you better bet your bottom dollar before I proceed forward. Oh, you better bet your bottom dollar I done call that whoever's responsible for looking at my stuff and can tell me if it's right or wrong. You better bet your bottom dollar I done talked to them and double check and made sure. We have seen many a times where people do stuff that they ain't supposed to do, and then they find out later because they in court somewhere. No ma'am, no sir. But again, it's all about looking, starting the conversation. And like I said, I'm so excited to be in the bracket. Yes. Oh my God. That's a beautiful thing, y'all. When you can start looking truly at your retirement and getting your ducks in a row and getting your affairs and stuff in order. You know, when I was younger, that was kind of scary to me. That was a scary thought. Oh, I don't need to think about that. But baby, let me tell you something. I'm so excited about that and looking forward to it. And so, like I said, you know, some of you all have asked some great questions. You want to know about, you know, thinning hair and taking care or dealing with elderly parents. Those are good stuff. Life insurance. You know, those are, again, all good conversations that we're going to be having. Like I said, I'm going to do a couple of lives and I'll put on my community board when we're going to do that. So y'all keep track on my community board. So if you want to be a participant in that conversation. And like I said, I'm no expert. The only thing I can tell you is that I have expertise and experience concerning my own affairs and my life. And for those things that you don't know, you better be seeking out an expert advice. People who are in that arena, that's their playpen. Like I've said before, go to your local bank. Go to the bank that they get your paycheck every week or every month or every bi-weekly. Go to that financial institution and get trust. Just like anything else, yeah, you have to sit in the lobby and wait. But guess what? They get your direct deposit or however you put your money in every pay period. So guess what? You can go sit right down and talk to one of them about financial stuff. Absolutely. Sure can. Because that's what I did. You never know when there's a new trainee in there and you get in there and they have the top dog, the top bank manager in there sitting next to them and you learn a lot of stuff just through them training folk. Matter of fact, I had learned something, you know, because I had to withdraw a chunk of money so I can get my car fixed. And see, I learned that, you know, if you withdraw a certain amount of money immediately, because that's a bank rule, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is what I learned. Folks who listen to this video in banking, if you withdraw a certain amount of money, the bank has to alert the government, the federal government, to say, okay, hey, this person is withdrawing this amount of money, because to them it's, you know, not that you're doing anything wrong, they just again, they monitor that kind of stuff. That's why you can't do purchase but a certain amount of money per day. There's a limit on it. Now, if you need to increase that limit because of you got a business or whatever, you have to go in the bank and sign some paperwork, or get approval from the bank that they'll allow you to go above that threshold. Again, just they look at your daily withdrawals, they look at your daily spending habits, and they look at how much money you deposit in. And again, like I said, there are certain limits banks automatically set as a default. But again, it can be different for different people. It could be different for different banks. It could be different from what people earn. If you got a business and they know, well, you know what, they need to withdraw just because of the business they're in. They normally withdraw $10,000 a week. Where if they set the limit at $5,000, that's going to be a problem. Or they spend at least $10,000 a week because of their business. That's why a lot of businesses have credit cards, because you have a set limit. But when it comes to banks, and like I said, there are a bunch of different rules that we as people don't know unless you get into them terms and conditions, or if you get into them little details that you have to read. All that stuff is in the fine print. But like I said, there are just certain things you learn. Honey, when you withdraw a certain amount of money, that's why I never did quite understand that, because like even when I was watching that Wendy Williams thing, that Wendy Williams special, they froze her money. I'm thinking, if she wanted to spend every month, every cent on crack, if she just did, or alcohol, if she wanted to, why are they holding up that woman's money like that? Because it's her money. It's her money. Hey. Okay. Have a good weekend. It's my lawn people bringing that invoice, honey. But yeah, I'm here to tell y'all. So whenever they flagged her account because her son was withdrawing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and like I said, I get what she was saying. Look, that's my money. But again, with me learning stuff, when you start withdrawing a certain amount of money over what your daily balance allows you to do, or purchasing, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's $8,000 a day, or what is it, $5,000, whatever your banking institution has for your particular account. Like I said, it could be different for different people, just based on their business. But see, when her son kept making all them heavy withdrawals, oh honey, that was a problem. When Wendy was having to go through rehab, having to go through this and that and the other. When they just did that special on Wendy Williams, whatever happened to Wendy Williams, yeah. See, those are the things. When you start getting into that arena, and I said, oh, got it. They have to alert the federal government if a person is withdrawing more than the norm. Just like when I had to withdraw a big chunk of money, whenever I was did the landscaping stuff. When I had to have all them trees cut down, I had to withdraw some money. Same way with writing checks. You're spending more than that normal limit. Yeah, if you got the money in the bank account, they'll honor it. But guess what they're also doing? They're flagging the government and saying, hey, this person withdrew X amount of money. Again, whatever that threshold is for your particular account. But see, like I said, it's just like anything else. I remember one year I was listening to it was a 60-minute or one of them shows where they were talking about how, you know, if certain banks, certain banks, uh, or let me say, a lot of banks would get embezzlement would be occurring. Well, as long as whoever was embezzling money at that bank kept it at a certain level, it never sent off a red flag. But see, what happened was they said most people got caught because they got greedy, because they start going above the threshold. So now another set of eyes has to look at it. Another manager or somebody higher up have to say, wonder why is it? Because let's just say anything under 5,000, no biggie. But see, it was greed. Greed is what caught folk, because they said, I done got away with doing this amount for so long. Let me do another amount. And that's when the red flag went up. That's when the red flag went up. And then they said, wait a minute. Now that has to go to a different hierarchy. And I thought, my God, my God. And it's so for true. I happen to be watching I love watching the little CSI crime shows, because I'm fascinated how forensically, they're trying to find out or solve a mystery or a crime, and all they got to go on is a fiber that came off of somebody's boot, and they know how to track back to that fiber. Oh my God, it's so exciting to me. Well, I happen to be watching one of them shows, and it's human nature. That's why people who are investigators, that's their playpen. They know what to look for. People would get caught, whether it was embezzling on their job. Oh, they were doing it for years. Embezzling, skimming off $200. They're supposed to be making deposits, and they would skim off, $500 there, cook the books, $200 there, cook the book, and they would just start skimming. But then they got greedy. Oh my God, got greedy. It got too good for them. Got too good for them, y'all. And they start withdrawing and skimming off more that caused red flags, where somebody else had to look at it and say, wait, something ain't adding up. And boom, got too comfortable in that greed. And so, but again, like I said, honey, we done went down another rabbit hole, ain't we? But I'm just saying, so you just learn stuff. You just do. But anyway, like I said, we'll be talking about more things. The lady that sent me that Q&A question book, oh, I love that, but it is kind of personal. But here's a question for May 1st. That question is messy or neat. So I'm leaving that to you all. Are you a messy person? And we can say that, in your mindset. Are you messy in your mindset? Or are you neat? Are you messy in the physical? Is that something you need to work on? Girl, go clean your house. Sir, go clean your bathroom. Or are you a neat person? Or sometimes are you so neat to a fault that you come all unglued and unhinged if that napkin ain't all the way square in the napkin holder? Or your cans, vegetables are not facing where you can read every label. I mean, do you get, are you so neat to the point that if you see that can label turn cock to the side and not straight forward where you can read that it's a can of peas, a can of tomatoes, a can of mushrooms, a can of corn. So again, I'm gonna interject some of these questions in here. Ain't none of your business what I put on my. No, I'm just kidding. I'll share. But yeah, I think I'm in between. I can be messy sometimes, but I don't let it linger. You know, there's something like my bathroom sometimes. My look, I use my bathroom. So yeah, sometimes I may leave the gel out and stuff like that, you know, and then the next day I might leave it out 2 days more, and then I finally, you know, put everything up in its place and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'm in between, more so on the neat side, but I'm not so overly neat that somebody can't sit down on my chair, or they can't lean or lay back on my couch. Nah, 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 nah. But again, some people have certain OCD issues, and that's just who they are. And look, that's fine. If that's who you are, that's who you are. But again, it's just, again, this is just thought for conversation. Are you messy or are you neat? Girl, are you messy and start mess all the time? Girl, messy boots. Ooh, honey, these squirrels out here having a time. Oh, honey, they is fighting. Do you hear me? They're wrapping themselves around a tree. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, that bush is in the way. Y'all ain't gonna be able to see it. Anyway, let me get on in here, and we'll talk about some other things on the next video. Again, let me know. Are you messy or are you neat? All right. Love y'all. God bless. May the peace of the Lord be with you. Ooh, this is a long video, y'all.